Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Love and Marriage Podcast. I'm your host, Wendy O. This is my co-host, Hotep Jesus. How are you feeling tonight, Hotep? I'm good. How's baby? Thanks. It's dirty. For women, yeah. Yeah. I guess I don't have typical Caucasian hair though. Well, I don't even know if it's super Jew hair because I have so many mixed things in me. But I have actually very thick, wavy hair and sometimes curly. Like I can get it to go like that. Yeah, I think I got some melanin. I do. I do.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, people. Obviously, I didn't do an audio check before we got on today.
Are you still muted?
I'm back.
Okay. So they didn't hear the conversation about the hair.
No.
So Hotep said my hair looks nice, and I said because it's dirty, and he asked me if that's Caucasian hair, and I says I don't know because I have pretty thick hair. I don't wash it every day. I wash it maybe once a week, every 5 days.
Okay.
And I have to use particular stuff. I can't just use regular. I can't use regular stuff. If I use regular stuff, forget it.
Yeah, it looks like shiny, like right down the middle.
Well, because that's the lighting, but it is pretty shiny. It's pretty healthy. But yeah.
Is that weave?
No.
I think I asked you that like every 10 episodes.
You do, yeah. No, I actually had fake hair. I did have weave when I was like 13 or 14 because like all the girls were doing it. So I got it too. I never did the braids though. I knew a lot of the girls because we had one friend who was mixed and she was like, oh my God, you guys should all get braids. And I was like, no, I'm not getting braids. I don't feel comfortable doing that. But all the other white girls got braids. I didn't.
She said it's you're Mediterranean. That's a good point, Halima. That is exactly what that is. That's that good Mediterranean blood.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. My mom has like super white girl hair, but me and my sisters, me and my baby sister, we don't. We actually have very very curly hair.
What's super white girl hair?
Like when it's very very thin and it's very like it's different. Like my mom, I favor my dad's side, not my mom's side. But then my dad's side is like some people they're just like I'm Mexican, I'm Native American, I'm this, but I've got the Romanian, I've got the German, I've got the Sicilian, and then but on my mom's side they're South Italian and then they're North Italian. So I've got lots of different pieces.
Okay.
To the puzzle.
Dopeness. Yeah. Today's the baby's 3-month birthday.
Oh yeah. Check you guys out.
Oh yeah. She's getting big, man. She's getting big, and she's laughing now and smiling. So it's a wonderful thing.
Isn't it so fun when they're able to start making facial expressions?
Yeah.
And like cooing and like.
Yeah. At first she wasn't doing no smiling. I'm like, when the smile's gonna come? And then now she's smiling, so that's cute. Shout out to Wasted Talent Podcast. He said I'm here for the good grift.
We got the grift going on too. I'm gonna be calling some people. Actually,
I gotta check and see if anybody was nominated. Okay, we're good.
I like that you can see who nominated you. I like that.
Yeah.
I love that. It shouldn't be anonymous. If somebody's going to call you out, they better call you out and they better put their name on that. Own it.
You have the option to be anonymous. Aww. It's optional. We don't want to dox anybody, but yeah. And we did this week. We split it up, so you have 2 groups now, personas and groups. So anybody that's an organization or a group would be under that, and then we have another column for personas. The list was getting pretty long.
I can imagine, especially after this week with your 2 favorite personalities.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
I guess that leads us to our first topic, though.
Okay, let's do it.
So I saw some guy on TikTok. He went viral. He got almost 1 million views, but he basically said they're allowing performances to be aired on national television with vaginal thrusting and, very inappropriate stuff that really kids should not be placed in front of. But then they're canceling Dr. Seuss, that one book that he wrote.
Yeah. Well, that the evil left is trying to hide their racist history. That's what this is about. They're trying to hide, even like taking down some of the statues. They're trying to hide the history. And I don't think that's what should be done. I think a lot of these things are time capsules that tell us like what life was like back then. And I don't think we can remove things like that because this is historical evidence. This is historical documents. This stuff is important to the history of this country and understanding how we got here. But that's really what the left is doing. They're trying to, hide their racist past.
So funny story. Well, I don't know if it's a funny story. It's just a story about that. I went to go see my mom. I went and I cooked with her on Friday, and she was kind of upset that they're canceling that Dr. Seuss story, in particular, the one about Mulberry Street. And it was very sentimental to her. And the reason why it was sentimental to her is when my grandma and my aunt, so their story is they came from Sicily.
Okay.
When their parents rowed the boat to Ellis Island, had my grandma and my great aunt in the United States, and then went back to Sicily to their land, and then came back shortly after, maybe 2 to 3 years after. And when they got back to the United States, my great grandmother ended up dying. But my grandpa and my aunt, my great grandpa, my grandma and my great aunt, they lived actually on Mulberry Street in New York. And on that particular street, there was one side of Italians and there was other side with Chinese. And that's where my grandma lived. That's where she grew up. And a lot of the images depicted in that book, that's kind of how it looked. And my grandma actually grew up and was friends with some of the Chinese kids, her and my great aunt. And my mom said that some of the Chinese kids actually, what they would do is because they would have these things called the Tong Wars. Are you familiar with that?
No.
So the Tong Wars are basically when the Chinese immigrants in the United States, when they would have their gang fights, and they would go and they would basically kill each other on the streets. Okay. It would be at a certain time. So my grandma and my great aunt became friends with some of the, the immigrant Chinese kids, and the kids would tell them, make sure you tell your dad to stay in the house. You guys stay in the house at this time because they're going to go fight.
Interesting.
So it was actually, that was a part of my grandma's life. That was real life history. And so my mom was kind of upset that happened, that they're removing that, because that's removing Italian history as well, because the Italian immigrants lived there and they were very poor. So I just wanted to talk about that, because I don't think they should be removing it, because it's not only taking, maybe there are some racial images there, but at the same time, that's the way that people were depicted. So should we remove those images?
They trying to remove everything. For example, I remember they removed Robert E. Lee. Well, when we go look at Robert E. Lee, what political party did he represent? The Democrats. Now they're trying to pull down his statues. The Democrats running cover trying to remove their racist history. That's what's going on here.
But why can't you just say, you know what, my ancestors were wrong, or these people were wrong, but I'm going to use this as an example as to why I'm not going to be this way, or why I want to raise my family differently than these people. Because when you remove that and you can't tell your kids, hey, this is what happened, we don't want to be like this, we want to progress, we want to be better. I don't see why you can't just be a mature, responsible adult and say, hey, this sucked. This was wrong that it happened. It hurt people. People lost their lives, or there was abuse that took place, and teach your kids, show your kids that this is not the correct way to live. But because when you mask it, then it can stay underlying in other areas.
Well, being a cool, responsible, honest adult is the antithesis to the Democratic Party.
Well, in our house, we talk about that stuff.
As you should. Shout out to Waste of Talent Podcast, $4.99. He's not grifting. Thank you. Dario, $5. Thank you. Anybody watching right now, if you haven't hit that super chat button, you are grifting. At the very least, you can hit the like button. Stop being a grifter. Hit the super chat. Hit the like button. Where we at, Wendy? What is it? What Wait, what was the topic we were talking about? Oh, grinding on the coochies, the coochie grinding.
Yeah, the coochie grinding. That was, let me tell you, I've been in strip clubs. Okay. I've been in a lot of strip clubs. I've hung out in strip clubs. I've hung around sex workers. That's some private stuff. That does not mean to be broadcasted all over TV. I'm sorry.
The coochie grinding. Who was that? Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, I believe, right? Doing the coochie grinding on, what was that? The Grammys.
Yeah, the Grammys.
Yeah. Coochie grinding on the Grammys. Rita Monza with the 1999 super chat. Always a great show. Love and support to Wendy. Thank you, Rita.
Thank
I
you.
love Rita. That's big. I don't have TV in my house. So the only way the kids would see it is potentially through the internet or somebody at school. But we don't tune into that vibratory frequency.
Right.
The Hollywood, the music industry. We don't tune into that stuff. So my family is pretty much safe from the lechery and debauchery of the evil left. So anybody affected by that, I believe, needs to first check their household, and then they need to check friends of friends, family, and friends of friends. We need to tune out. I think the one of the most revolutionary acts one can do is canceling their cable and not tuning into that frequency.
Agree. But when you're married to somebody who is an avid sports fan and has to have special types of cable in the house so he can watch his racing.
Yeah, that's got to go too.
Oh, you can tell him, not me. I ain't telling him. I ain't having that conversation because that's that man's life. Okay.
What kind of racing does he watch?
He used to kind of be into NASCAR, but now he's more into the dirt track racing. And now we can afford for him to actually, he's got to go. I think we have 2 go-karts. We got all kinds of stuff in the garage.
One of my homies is an engineer for a NASCAR team.
Nice.
And they be winning too.
Oh.
Yeah. They like one of the number 1 teams. I'm not going to say which one, but they're up there. Shout out to the homie. He brought us some NASCAR shirts too. Last time we were at the office, he brought us some NASCAR shirts, some real good ones. If they came in, my size, I would have grabbed a couple, but they're a little too big for me. But yeah, no, I totally get it. Men like their sports. I've divested and removed my attention from the sports arena. I'm fine with the bread, but Caesar will not get me with his circus.
Well, but he's for him, I'd rather him watch sports and spend money on he's not
invested because he's got cars all up in the.
Yeah, but he's not into once they started doing the whole once the sports started getting really political, he's like, I can't support this.
Yeah.
Because for him it took it away because he's
took the fun out of it.
He's closer to your generation. He just remembers growing up and like that. Really, sports were like the only free thing on TV back then. And he grew up dirt poor. So that was like a treat for him and his brother to have like the football game on in the house and like at grandma's house or wherever they were. It was a treat for them. So now it's all political and he's like, I don't really want this in my house. But the racing, he likes the ideology of family and whatnot behind it. And where we are in Southern California, everything is very, very diversified.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
So there's that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have a question for you. So they're saying with the vaccine, they're saying that it's causing blood clots.
Whoa. Pump your brakes. We can't use that word.
Oh, okay.
The jabby, the stabby, the vagine.
I like to call it the vagine. So the vagine. The vagine.
YouTube, I don't know this woman. This is the first time I seen her on my channel.
He ain't claiming this white woman over here.
Whoa, those key words.
So the vagina that they're giving out. Vagina is a good word to use because it was on the Grammys. Is that acceptable?
No, let's go with the stabby. We're gonna go with the stabby.
Okay, that's okay to use.
Yeah, we can call it the stabby.
Okay, so So the stabby, they're stating that it gives BCs, which are
blood clots.
Okay. Okay. And the argument with that is there people are upset and they're trying to pull it, but in reality, birth control does the same thing. And there's a lot of women that are still taking it.
Oh yeah. That's a Hotep thing, man. You know, Hotep women been telling a lot of black women, you know, because we've been dealing with a lot of health issues coming from the birth control, and it's very unnatural. That's an ancient Hotep thing, you know, getting women off birth control. I remember they used to make fun of Hotep women when they said, "Hey, get off the birth control," so on and so forth. You know, it's doing some negative effects to your body. And then, you know, they used to make fun of them. Now it's almost mainstream amongst the black left to avoid the birth control and, you know, find other means of contraceptive.
Hold on, I'm trying to think about that for a second.
I said almost mainstream. Like it's starting to make its way.
Right.
I'm starting to see a lot of women talk about it.
But what they're doing now, though, and they're celebrating on TikTok, is they're celebrating that PP.
Yes. And that's their form of right. Exactly. And that plays along with the agenda, right? So whereas we're talking about, you know, having safe relations, you know, no coochie grinding on the Grammys, right? And being selective with your partners and treating your body like a sacred temple, that all goes along with staying away from the BC. But you can't stay away from the BC and be a thought at the same time. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they're doing. So they say, look, take away the BC, be a thought, but you know what? PP got you. Gil Bates and Galinda Mates, yeah, that's what they love to do.
But it's a trend though, and they think it's funny, they think it's cute.
They think it's real funny. Yeah, it's disgusting.
It is disgusting, and as somebody who had an ectopic pregnancy and was given the choice, you can either wait and see if it's actually an ectopic pregnancy or you can terminate now, because I was so sick. Like I was like in the hospital, I was sick. That was the choice I had as somebody who had to kind of go through that. It's not something to be celebrated. It's not something that's funny. It's something that should be kind of kept private. To me, it's a very personal thing, and I wouldn't be broadcasting. I didn't really talk about it until really ever, but it's not something that you post about on social media.
The left are a bunch of Satanists. That's the only way to make sense of this.
Well, in my household, we are not raising that type of female. That's not female empowerment. When you talk about feminism and it's my body, my choice. Well, it's my body, and it's my choice to not pick you as a partner, or to make a choice to use a condom or whatever it is to plan that, and also to keep track of my cycle so that I don't get pregnant. That's what my body, my choice means. Yeah. And if some people want to take birth or BC, that's fine as well. For me, it worked for me for a while. It helped kind of regulate my mood, but I'm a different case than some other people. But now as an adult, that I'm more stable and my life is different now. I'm in a very good place. I'm glad I don't take it. I don't have any chemicals in my body whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. Kent Thoreau, $4.99 super chat. He said they don't want people to know about the past because none of their tricks are original. Hotep. Real talk. B. Weezy Bird, Planned Parenthood tweeted today, shout out to the iconic black women using the power of pleasure as a form of resistance, with a tongue emoji.
What happened? Break that down for me. I didn't see it.
They said, shout out to the iconic black women using the power of pleasure as a form of resistance. So basically saying that it's iconic for a black woman to be promiscuous. In fact, it's even revolutionary, so to speak, to be promiscuous. Again, the words of Satan.
But how is that revolutionary? Because is it revolutionary? Because let's look at it. Let's look at some of the facts about the history of America.
Hold on. Are you really about to try to rationalize the actions of Satan? Because there's no logic in it. It's just pure evil.
It is evil, but what I'm saying is being in control and being revolutionary is saying, hey, this happened a long time ago. I don't like it, so I'm going to do something. I'm going to be better than that. Because when you're talking about being very, very sexual and whatnot, that's fine. If that makes you happy, that's what you do. That's fine. But realistically, if as a mother, like me as a mom, I don't want to put my child in front of that because I don't want her to think growing up that I need to use my body. I need to use the V to get things in life. I want to use my mind to get things in life and to get somewhere in life. Like I became successful from using my mind. Being a woman and using my mind as a woman, I want her to be able to think the same way, but being very sexual and being very promiscuous, it could get you attention, but is that the type of attention you want? That's what we have to kind of take into consideration and account. Is that the type of attention you want? Do you want to be known in history as a famous madam? Or do you want to be known in history as a woman who created something scientific? Or do you want to just be known as a woman who maintained the household and held it down for your man or whatever it is?
But don't you see the nakedness protruding on the Instagrams?
Yeah, it's gross. And the thing is too, like I was talking to one of the crypto boys online, and he's like, "Oh, I need a girlfriend, but you have to look like an Instagram model." I says, when you get that, you don't get. And he was also complaining about not being able to find a trad wife. And I said, that's why you're not gonna be able to find a trad wife, is because you don't get.
Yeah, you don't get both of those.
It generally doesn't come in both. It's very, 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 very rare that you can get both. And if you do, there's some other issues. There's some other issues there, underlying issues. And I tried to explain that to him, but he didn't get it. But the things that they see on Instagram, it's not real. There's girls there's a new TikTok trend where they're saying this is what it's like women that are on Instagram, the thought women, and like, this is actually what it really looks like. I have stretch marks here. I have hair here. This is me doing an angle with the Photoshop. This is how I really look. There's rolls. There's different things there. Yeah. So it's really not what you're getting.
Yeah. Never date a girl with an Instagram account. If she has an Instagram account, walk the other way.
I would say if she's an influencer, not just an Instagram account.
No, has an Instagram account. Why are you differentiating?
Because I have family on Instagram and they post like family stuff. It's like we have like private family accounts where we share pictures of the family, like our vacations or
Gotta
kids.
Cut them
like
off. Got to cut off that family member.
Okay, you can tell my cousins from Brooklyn that then. You can tell. You be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, nothing but the devil lives on Instagram.
They're Sicilian. From Brooklyn. You could tell them. He said, subject change, please.
Yo, like you can't date no chick with no Instagram account. It's even in my book, Unbreakable Rules of Masculinity, what to look for if a woman has an Instagram account, some telltale signs to steer clear, are very, very basic on there. So make sure you go get a copy of that. Link is in the description box below. But Instagram account is usually a red flag.
Okay. All right.
If she's an influencer,
No. That's definitely what you want to stay away from.
Hold on now.
Uh-oh. Mm-mm.
When you say influencer, we talking like Fashion Nova influencer? Or we talking crypto finance influencer?
I'm not a crypto influencer.
Oh my fucking God. You just coming up here lying today.
That's not lying. They gave me that term. They gave me that term. You know what I am?
What are you?
I'm a founder. I am a CEO of a marketing company, and I do marketing. And I manage clients globally, and I've worked with over 150 crypto people.
Do you have a TikTok account?
I do.
You're an influencer.
My content My content is educational. I will not lie. I did 2 thirst traps. That was it.
See, you're an influencer. I can't even let the first one slide. You got a TikTok, you got an Instagram, you got a Twitter, and you got a YouTube, and all 4 of them is popping. You're an influencer.
I teach financial literacy.
You're a financial influencer.
Whatever. One of my subscribers on TikTok, they paid all their student loan debts off with their crypto profits because I advocate for people to take profit.
Okay, I wouldn't have did that, but that's cool.
Well, I mean,
I would have filed for bankruptcy and kept my money in crypto. That's my financial advice.
Well,
my financial advice is never pay off your debt. Let the government do that. Get you a good attorney and file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. It's cheaper. You would have still had your crypto.
You're right, but
who needs credit?
Somebody call Dave Ramsey. Where's Dave Ramsey?
Who needs credit when you got crypto? That should be a slogan. Who needs credit when you got crypto?
Make a shirt. Tweet it.
Gotta tweet that out.
Make sure you hashtag Bitcoin too to fit in with all the Bitcoin influencers. The Bitcoin maximalists.
Needs credit when you have, I'm gonna get killed for this too. I don't even know why.
I'm gonna retweet it.
Hashtag Bitcoin. Who needs credit when you have crypto? Hashtag Bitcoin. Done. I don't even know what that means, but it's out there in the world now.
Retweeting to support it. All right. Do you want to start segueing into the serious topic?
Let's do it. By the way, I have a 700 plus credit score.
Good for you.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Congratulations. After you just told people to go. You're on the grifties. You're about to get boosted like 10 positions right now.
Go vote for Hotep Jesus on grifties.com.
All right. So I actually finished watching The Night Stalker on Netflix.
Night Stalker. That's the one with the crazy dude like stalking women. Oh boy. Well, y'all love watching that stuff.
Hold up. It was more than women. So we'll talk about that.
And then that's gonna men too.
Let me tell the story.
He's bisexual.
No, well. Okay, so the guy, the Night Stalker.
And we gotta talk about the murderer in Atlanta too.
Which one? There's
the one that was going around killing the Asian people at the massage parlor.
Yeah, that one, and then the other one too.
There's another one.
Well, it was a woman in England, I believe.
All right, cool. All right, so we'll get to that.
Okay, so but I want to kind of start off.
Night Stalker is this? What's this? Netflix?
It was on Netflix. It was a serial killer in Los Angeles, and I think he went on for like 190 days. And the crazy thing about it is, my mom lived in New York when the Son of Sam was going around doing that, and then that she came back to LA, and she actually worked for the Herald newspaper, which was a competitor of Los Angeles Times, which she worked in advertising, and they were a big newspaper that was covering everything. And she lived in San Gabriel Valley when he was doing all this stuff. And he didn't pick just because generally serial killers, they will pick a specific type of person, like a race or an age group. But this guy, he went into multiple households, all different races, all different ages. He went after children. He took this child with him to do all these crazy things. So my mom was like to me, and it's like,
took the child with him.
He took a little girl. He went into her bedroom, took her out, did whatever he was doing, took her, put her in a duffel bag. Then he went, and I believe he had murdered somebody, and then brought her back home. So she was able to identify him in the lineup when they finally caught him. So there was like a bunch of crazy stuff that happened, but he went, it was like, he didn't have a type. Most of these people, they have type. Like you're saying the thing in Atlanta, it was Asians, but it was like with everybody. But it was so crazy because it kind of segues in the story from UK and how corrupt that police and politicians are, because they could have caught him like halfway through, but everybody was like talking, like the police and the media were talking about it, and the political officials were talking about it, and the political officials actually botched a lot of this stuff because they wouldn't sign off to have one of the cars that they thought was his fingerprinted, and it was left in the sun, and he ended up killing a bunch more people. But the moral of the story, the good thing about it is that when they finally did catch him, the people in LA, they all came together and they beat the piss out of him together.
Oh, okay. That's a good happy ending.
I guess it's terrible. It was terrible though. I didn't know how bad it was. And that explains why my husband is mentally cuckoo and he literally will lock the doors, like make sure the doors are locked like 3 or 4 times. And he was telling me during that time he used to sleep with a knife by his bed. He was a little kid at that time. And I was talking to him today about it. I go, is that why you're like a little OCD cuckoo? He's like, it could be why. But this man makes sure the house is completely locked. Like you can't get in our house. He's got sticks everywhere. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you gotta have weapons in all parts of the house. I have weapons in all the rooms in the house.
You guys are the same. And then when we got off the show last time, he's like, look, should I get Hotep this for the wedding? And he's looking at 4-figure knives as a wedding gift.
I thought you was about to say guns. You gotta keep a gun in like the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom. You gotta have a gun in there. So anytime somebody come through the door, you got one right there. And then you gotta keep one, you know what I mean, strapped right underneath you, just in case. You know what I'm saying? You got to be walking around the house like a cowboy. Four figure. I take knives. I got some knives. I got a nice collection of knives.
It's a nice one. It's a real nice one.
I got a Rambo knife. I got this really cool retractable knife. I got a butterfly knife. Yeah, I like knives. I used to collect knives when I was a kid.
That's some alpha man stuff.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah, I used to love knives. I used to just like either go to like the flea market. I think y'all call them swap meets. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get the cool knives at the swap meets. Or you order them from like the back of the magazines, like the back of the gun magazines or whatever. They always have like those cool knives and stuff. So I used to always order. This is before the internet.
That's some alpha man stuff. It is. It is.
I don't know. I just love knives.
But that kind of segues into like what we're talking about with Atlanta and what happened in the UK, about really kind of, I have a love and hate relationship with police officers.
Yeah. Well, what's the love about?
The love is I've had good experiences with police officers too.
Okay.
So I actually forgot about this memory. Well, there's 2 memories. You want to hear both of them?
Yes.
I had gone to the hospital one night for something. I'm not going to talk about what it was for, but I had gone to the hospital one night.
You got into a street fight?
No. I wouldn't go to the hospital for that. But I was living in Hollywood. Me and the ex had gotten a big fight, and I ended up going to the hospital that night. And I was like out of my mind. I couldn't find a way home. So a police officer came up to me. He's like, here's $20. I'm calling you a cab. Go home. And he put me in a cab and he sent me home. And then when I was growing up, I blocked, because I didn't mention this because I forgot about it until recently. I blocked a lot of stuff out. But my neighbor, when my parents got divorced, we moved in with my grandma and my great aunt. And we lived in the 2-bedroom townhome. And my neighbor he was a Black man and he had married a white woman. They had 2 kids, and he would come outside and he would play with us. They would play dodgeball with us and, dodgeball and kickball. And he had known that, my mom was good friends with them. So he knew that we had issues, with my dad. And then I remember when my dad passed away, they came over and they brought us like a frozen lasagna and stuff. And he always treated me and my sister so, so, so well. And he was a police officer. And that's why it's hard for me to be like, oh, ACAB, because I've had good experiences as well. And I don't want to be like ACAB when that's not the case with all of them.
What's ACAB mean?
All cops are bastards.
Oh, okay.
And actually the people that are saying that now, it's actually taken from a punk rock song.
Oh.
But so that's my love-hate relationship with cops. But I've also had very, very bad experiences with police officers. But I don't like that they tend to come in and they botch stuff up, and all that stuff bothers me. And then there's the racial issues and the unjust and them thinking that they got this superiority complex and they come in and they just beat people and whatever. Because I've experienced some of that injustice myself personally. My sister's experienced it. That's experienced it. My brother-in-law was killed by police. So I've got the love and hate relationship.
Yeah, I got a couple of good stories with the cops. I remember one time I was doing like 90 down a residential. Then I hooked the left. And I whizzed past a cop and almost got away. I pulled into the driveway. If they didn't have heat detectors, I would have got away. But I knew the cop, and he was like, "Yo, get out of here before my sarge sees you." So he let me go. And then another time, I got pulled over, and the kid was like, "Hey, you Brian Sharp?" Like, yeah. He's like, "Man, get out of here. I know who you are." And he let me go because he was like, he said, I was cool to him in high school. And I guess I was older or whatever, but he said I was nice to him in high school. So he let me go. I was like, oh, wow, it pays to be nice, you know? And then another time I got pulled over with a suspended license, and it was a chubby white cop. And he was like, "Look, I ain't supposed to do this, but I didn't see you. Get out of here, drive home. But your license is suspended." And he let me go. Usually they arrest you or something like that. Make you, somebody come get the car. So I've had some good experiences with cops, mostly bad. So I wouldn't say all cops are bad, but the entity of policemen is bad.
Yes.
The idea is bad.
I agree. So that's my stance on it. But tell me what happened in Atlanta.
I don't know. I saw something. Dude said
it was
I think 6. It was the police chief. It was 8 victims.
8.
6 were Asian. Yeah, 8 victims. 6 were Asian. And he said the dude had a sexual addiction, so he killed them because to reduce his addiction or something like that. I guess they were what do they call them?
A deviant?
No, the type of massage parlors. Stroke and joke. What do they call it?
Oh my God. Oh, we have a term for it out here. It's a unique term out here. It's if somebody in the that's watching knows what it's called. It's oh my God, what are they called? The happy end. It's a happy ending massage ending.
Right, happy endings. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I just found that like really odd that this was his sexual addiction. He wanted to kill people. Really, really odd.
And it was just women, or was it a specific type?
I don't know if it was a specific type, but I know rub and tug. That's it, rub and tug. What do they call it? A rub and tug. Oh my God. But I don't know, some weirdo who, I guess most of those rub and tug places are about Asian women. In fact, you know what happened to me one time? I drove past this massage parlor, and it was really cheap.
Good. It's gonna be good. Go on.
It was really cheap. It was like $40 for an hour massage. Like, yo, you can't beat that. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna book an appointment. Like, who turns down a $40 massage? So I pulls up, and I go in the room, and the lady, I lay down, and the lady was like, underwear off, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. Usually I keep my joint on. She said, no, underwear off. I said, oh, okay. But in hindsight, I think it was a rub and tug joint. It just felt like that because afterwards, I think the way she was rubbing me at some points, like she got a little, I felt the graze against the royal family, the royal jewels. And I'm like, oh, she getting kind of close. So in hindsight, I think she was trying to let me know, like, yo, if you need a little extra, we do that. But me being the naive, gullible person I am, I'm just thinking, oh, you're getting kind of close, lady. You're going to have a surprise. You go up that towel too much, And I could have sworn she peeked at my ass one time adjusting the towel. So I don't know. But I think it's a rub and tug joint. I don't get down like that, though.
Thank you for sharing.
She was kind of old, too. I like Asian women, but not old ones.
Okay, so...
Halima said, thank you, Halima. She said, I think Chinese culture don't give knives as gifts. Bad luck. Same with pen gifting in another culture. Guns and powder is best, Wendy.
Okay, I'll tell him. I don't know if he can buy them.
I remember one time It was the night that Michael Jordan scored 55 points in the Garden. I think he had just came back from retirement. And I went with my cousin. We was trying to scalp tickets. We ended up watching the game in a bar in the Garden. And on the way back, he picked up a hooker. I was 16 years old. Okay. On the way back, he picked up a hooker. And this was my birthday. And he asked me, he said, hey, cuz, you want a blowjob? And I was like, no, thank you. When I tell you I was frozen in that back seat, no, I was in the front seat. The hooker was in the back seat. And the whole ride back, I was silent and shit like, oh my God, there's a hooker in the back seat. There's a hooker in the back seat. I was terrified. I was terrified. Ask me why, I don't know. But I was like, there's a hole in the back seat. And he just asked me if she wants to blow me. And I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I don't want her to touch me. She better not touch me. This is the type of kid I was. Ever since then, I've been afraid of hookers. I don't think I've ever paid for a JJ. What does that say about me, Wendy?
It says it actually says a lot, but it says good things. It says that you're very particular in life. It says that you're you know what you want, and you're not willing to lower your standards for a quick nut like most other men would, because most men are very weak and they'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get off. Yeah. And they would just do with anybody or anything and lower their standards because they don't have any self-control. So it says a lot about you as a man.
Oh, okay.
It's a good thing. And mine is that way too. He's very, 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 very particular. Very particular. I told him, I say, you could go to the strip club. You can do this. You can do that. Nope. He goes, that's bait. That's a trap.
I like the strip club. Let me tell you, one time I was at the strip club, and it was a very cheap strip. No, actually, it wasn't cheap. It was just a cheap night. They had the cheap girls out that night. And my homies took me there. Apparently, that's what they like to do. And I was, probably just turned 21. And this is the first time I got a lap dance. He was like, yo, you got to get a lap dance. I'm like, okay, well, sure, whatever. And that was a very awkward experience. Another story for another day. But this one like white lady, she was like heavy set too. Russian. She just looked terrible, And so the game was on. So I'm chilling and I see her making her rounds, like she's going around the bar, right? They go around a circle. So she's going around and I know she's like 3 guys away from me. So I'm like, all right, maybe if I just stare at the screen, she'll just skip me, right? So I'm staring at the screen and then she comes and she starts dancing right in front of me. So I'm like, oh, fuck, she's dancing in front of me. So I'm staring at the screen and I'm just like, acting like I don't see her, right? So after she stops dancing, she turns around and puts her hand out. So I'm looking at the screen like I don't see her hand. And then she's like, stop being cheap, asshole, pay up. And I'm like, I gave her $1. It's like, just go. Like, why are you calling me out in the middle of the day strip club, yo? Worst experience ever.
That's not on you, but on her. That's just like, it's like if a dude is not interested in you, just keep it moving.
So I figured she would do. Like, you didn't get the hint, lady? It must have been a rough night and she really needed the money. I just gave it $1. Like, hey, you making a scene.
But the thing is some women don't understand. And this goes with a lot of things in general, is that if a man does not want you, he does not want you. And there's really nothing you can do to persuade him. If you don't want the kitty, he's just not interested. And
right.
If he is interested, he will pursue you. And if he is interested and doesn't pursue you, he's a pussy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just keep it moving. Go to the next. That's what an awkward. I just couldn't imagine being shut down like that from a man. I would feel so embarrassed, like so embarrassed.
Right.
Like I've had crushes on guys like when I was young and they didn't have a crush back at me. It's like, okay, my feelings were hurt, but I wouldn't like put it out there like, oh my God, I like you. It was just like something internal, like.
Yeah. You got more pride.
Yeah, because it's like to me, it's like embarrassing. Because
It
I
is
remember
embarrassing.
I was like in 7th or 8th grade, and I really liked this guy a lot. I thought he liked me a lot. Like we were dating and everything, and like he dumped me, and I just still remember just like caring about him so much. I was so sad because like whatever. And so I just like after that, like after being rejected like that, I was like, I can never let somebody know I care about them again. Be rejected like that. It was just embarrassing, you know?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know I was young. Like my dad had passed away like 2 years prior. I didn't know. I was a little kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what was the other story you wanted to tell?
Okay, let's talk about that one. Let me pull. I got to pull that one up.
Okay.
I got to pull that one up. Let's see. I sent it to you. Let me see. Oh, okay. This one is a sad one, so we have to be serious. Oh wait, this one is no. I want to do the funny one first. This is kind of ridiculous. Is this ridiculous? Oh, they deleted it. Damn it. Damn them.
What they delete?
I wanted to send something to you, but they deleted it. Well, I guess we'll talk about this one. Okay. So this was actually a very apparent. Peter McCormick's been on your show, no?
Not yet. I've
Peter
been
McCormick?
on his. I got to bring him on mine.
I thought you guys did a debate, no?
Oh wait, that's right. He was. Oh, yes. He was part of the debate. Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this was his friend too. I think this was his friend. Okay, so this is from, it says, protesters march a winding route through Westminster, Lambeth chanting, all cops are bastards, ACAB, and whose streets are streets. And apparently the woman that was murdered was Sarah Everard. And let me pull up the article so I don't get any of the facts incorrect. But basically it was a woman that was walking home in, where is this? In London, and a police officer murdered her and they found her remains later. Peter had actually posted, if I remember correctly, Peter had posted like, my friend is missing. I want to say it was Peter. I really want to say, but
that was his friend?
I think it was somebody he knew. But he was like, my friend's missing. If you guys see her, if you know, let me know. But apparently she went missing and then they found her body later. And from the article, what it looks like, I sent it to you in DMs. But it was basically, of course, they bring up BLM in this article too, like it has anything to deal with it because Jesus.
Always got to slide that in there.
They always have to. And it's like, I get it. It's a very important thing. The topic is, well, the topic is not the organization.
Okay.
That's whatever.
Okay.
But you don't have to. It's not relevant to what we're talking about, right? To what happened to this woman because she was a white woman.
Insert it in everything.
Okay, so that just pissed me off because it's stupid. So anyways, the police officer had murdered her and people are really, really upset, making a big deal about it. And I saw a video and there was a bunch of women wearing masks at a vigil, like mourning this woman, like, oh my God. I agree with why the women were there. The women were there is because there is a lot of violence committed against women in general. And if you're a male watching this, I understand that there is violence committed against men as well. There are men that are murdered. There are men that different types of things happen to them. And I am sorry that type of stuff happens, but that is a separate topic. We're talking about violence against women because when we're looking at statistics, women are generally harmed a lot more than men are when it comes to when it comes to assault, when it comes to death stuff, different stuff like that. So these women were there kind of mourning and the police came in and they were just kind of brutalizing them, like tossing them and throwing them back. And they're like, you can't protest here because of stupid 19. And it's very upsetting to see, like, number one, this shouldn't happen. Why was this guy allowed to be a police officer when he was an absolute monster? Because that's what it is. And why didn't they let these women mourn? Because when we have it as a woman, when there is another woman that a tragedy like this happens to, it makes us kind of go back to some of the events that have happened to us. Like I can think of a couple different events that have happened to me. There was a time where I almost was murdered. There was a time where I was almost kidnapped. And it kind of brings you back to that type of stuff, to those violent events. And what I feel like they're, like we talked about before, is they're trying to erase the relevancy of women and our struggle that we've had. And this goes to all women of all different races and ethnicities and backgrounds.
That's my problem with the police, period. You have people but this was overseas, so their rights are completely different from America, right?
Right.
But you've seen it in America too. People try to congregate and the police come and they, do certain things, or they'll say, hey, you need to have a permit to gather here, whatever. But that's the wild part about it. because these are individuals, but they're operating like automatons, like straight up robots, right? And you would think that they would say, look, there's a way to quell this protest in a humane way. For example, if I'm the police and I'm on scene and I know these women are protesting something with police, I'm telling my other fellow officers, look, bring some roses. We come into this protest with flowers. And I will be out there with the police handing out flowers. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I will be leading prayers. I will be setting up, holding hands with circles, Everybody make a circle. Or police, I would say, yo, make a circle around these women. Let's protect these women.
Are you washing feet?
Here. Huh?
Are you washing feet?
I'm washing feet. It's women.
I'm making a joke because of that thing that
I know.
And I just remember seeing that and I'm like, anyways, go ahead.
We washing feet.
That's fine because it's women's feet.
It's because it's women's feet. You know what I mean? I ain't washing no man's feet. I don't give a who died. You know what I mean? Shit. Whatever it is. But I think there's a way for police to mitigate the risk of violence. But I would lead with love. And you would see how some of these protests would happen peacefully. Everybody would go. When you ask them to do something like, hey, can we all just disperse now? They'd probably be more likely to listen to your words, and sympathize. But it's like the police have removed the humanity from themselves. And it's just like, these are my orders.
I agree with you. I think that there is definitely a better way for law enforcement to go about dealing with these types of situations, to make public statements, or maybe send the female officers out. And right. This is probably a hot topic or a hot take, but I think if you're for example, if you're in a primarily white neighborhood, send in white police officers. If you're in a primarily black neighborhood, send in black police officers. And the reason why I think that they're going to be able to relate a little bit better to the particular group that you're talking to. And the reason why you want to do that is because when we're dealing with very sensitive topics, the way to best deal with these, and I learned this in healthcare, is you listen to the other person. Yes. And as you're listening, you pull different parts out that resonate with them and you make yourself relatable to them. Like someone would come in and say, hey, X, Y, and Z happened to me. And when I used to work in the pharmacy, and I would say, oh, this happened. I would let them speak and I'd say, well, this happened to me too. And be like, you too? And I was like, yes, or I knew somebody or this or that. And I would build a relationship with them. So then they would come in and even though they came from a completely different background from me, they fucked with me because they're like, she gets it. Right. She gets it to an extent. So I'm not understanding why why people don't see that and be like, hey, let's do it this way. Let's make it more relatable.
Yeah. I totally agree, man. I totally agree. Cats is just following orders. But again, when we think of police, I'm not thinking of high IQ people.
Right. And that's the unfortunate part. I don't want to remove police. I would like to reform. And we talk about reform, not have the left have anything to do with it, because their idea of reform would be, I don't think would be the right way to go about it. I feel the type of reform we need is more humanistic type of reform. We need to teach people social skills. We need to teach people how to listen, how to say, hey, this is happening. How can I diffuse this situation without using violence? Or how can I diffuse a situation with my words? How can I make this relatable? Because even like I used to have to diffuse situations with people that were on a different planet, like completely different planet, that were high on drugs, completely different background with me. And 9 out of 10 times, I would be able to diffuse those situations and service my clients because I listened to them and I would hear what they were saying. I would come in with a very open-minded perspective, and I would be able to tell people, no, you can't get your HIV/AIDS medication today because of X, Y, and Z, but we can do this for you. I'd come in with a positive solution, and they would, instead of screaming and yelling at me, they would be like, oh, thank you so much. I'll come back then.
Yeah. It's amazing what you could do when you listen and understand.
But how do we stop violence against women? How do we protect women?
Starts with the nuclear family. You know, I
But
think that when we look
it's
at
more
the
than that.
no, it's not. It's
Well,
not.
go ahead. I want to hear, and then I'm going to butt in.
Well, let's look at these serial killers. We got to look at their past.
Mm-hmm.
You look at their past, usually there's something really wrong, really bad happened in their childhood, right? They were abused or, whatever they were doing, sexually abused, whatever it was, something happened to them, neglected, bad relationship with their mother, all these type things. So I think what happens is if we protect children, we can protect women because children go up to become angels or demons, and how we treat them is going to determine. So if we really want to protect women, we have to start raising more angels, and then those angels could protect them, and the angels could outnumber the demons. You know what I mean? But outside of, I'm thinking about like preventative medicine as opposed to like, get guns, all this type of stuff that I know you're thinking about as far as protect women. But I think it's about arming people.
But is it safe to say that every single violent case against another human being is done by somebody who is hurt as a child?
I don't think we can say 100% for certain, but I think majority of the times we can.
But what about if somebody has a really great household, like their mom and dad, everything is okay in the household, but the child gets bullied at school? So we're taking that into account because me
Right.
personally, on crypto Twitter, I'm getting all types of incels that are just like absolutely bullying me. And that sounds like, and then like I'll hear personal things about them and mom and dad were okay, but it's like they got bullied or this or that happened. So then they take that behavior out. So, but how do we stop that type of like,
well, that's the same thing, right? It's still, again, we come back to protect the children.
Right. But what
and
I mean,
raising,
but if it's
raising good, because usually the bullies, something wrong at home.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
I'm just trying to think of okay, so we got the nuclear family, but we all know the nuclear family is under heavily it is being attacked like crazy 24/7. It's as a woman, you get completely smashed by other women if you want to be a traditional wife, if you enjoy being a stay-at-home mom, if you enjoy cooking a meal for your man. I get all kinds of crazy stuff that people are like, this is sexist and this is that. I get people mad at me that I don't want to show my body online. Just cuckoo type of stuff. So essentially women are kind of under attack at all angles, but it's like, it's a very hard thing. It's a very, very hard thing. So we have to raise and protect our children, but at the same time, we have to also protect our women. But how are we able to protect our women when society won't allow us to, because we have images of women disrespecting themselves all over the place. And that's what the media is focusing on. So we remove that from the household. But at the same time, it's like, wow, like where can we go for some sort of normalness?
They would call that victim blaming.
What part?
When you say women presenting themselves as promiscuous online makes them more susceptible to abuse. They say that's victim blaming. They say naked women don't force men to rape. That's what something they would say. Which, I mean, technically is true, but
technically it is true, but at the same time, I have put myself in very, very bad situations and bad things have happened. And if I wouldn't have put myself in that situation, dressed a certain way or acted a certain way, maybe that wouldn't have happened. And I am mature enough to take myself out of the situation and look at a third party. And I'm not disagreeing with you, but at the same time, there are terrible things that happen, but at the same time, there are some things that you can do, preventative measures, just like we use preventative medicine. You take vitamins every day. Why do you take vitamins every day? So you don't get sick. At the same time, I'm not going to go into if I know I'm going to an event with all men, I'm going to be cautious, and I don't have my man there. I'm going to be cautious what I wear. The reason why I'm going to be cautious what I wear, regardless if there's alcohol or drugs or not, is because I want to be treated with respect. And if I'm scantily clothed, why would a man respect me? And I'm not speaking for all men, but that's presenting a message because the way you speak presents a message, the way you dress, the way you act, your energy presents a message. Heck, I could walk into a room and command attention if I wanted to, and there's a way that you do that, and I'm sure that you do the same thing too. But we have to, it's about language, it's about communication, and what are you communicating?
Yeah, that's what I say. But I don't get involved in them conversations. I just let the people have it. I mind my business. I try to raise my family the best way I know how, and be a great example. Everybody else is more than welcome to follow the Hotep's lead, and if they wish to deviate from that, good fucking luck to you.
Well, last topic before we go.
Okay.
Because with the whole protecting women, you and I are kind of on the same page with that, but it's a hard topic, and we'll be touching on it later again and again and again, because each situation is going to be different.
Yeah.
But there was something that was posted on Twitter. It was all over the place, and I think that was the original tweet I wanted to show you, but it's gone. But basically, somebody had said that if you marry somebody from a different race, you're a racist. That makes you racist for marrying them. And I want to say,
what?
It was, I don't know. I can't find the tweet. It's gone now. It was what I sent to you, but it was gone. But basically it was a white person that told either a black man or it was either a black or a white person, I don't know, that even though you married somebody of the opposite race, that makes you an even bigger racist. Something along those lines.
Against your own people?
No, that you're like, okay, let's say that.
So if I'm black and I date a white woman, I'm racist and I hate white people?
Yeah, basically, and vice versa. Or especially, it was more so the white woman is as secretly racist because she's dating you and you're black.
Why?
I think it was along the lines that they really didn't give an explanation. And I'm thinking to myself, there was a bunch of people tweeting about it.
It might be like the whole, almost like a pet, almost like they say black men are fetishized by certain groups of white women or something like that. And but they only like them sexually. They don't really like them or something like that. Was it one of those?
I think it was, but it was there really was an explanation for it. But at the same time, like people let's break that down. People have different sexual fetishes. They have different kinks. Just because you have a specific type of kink doesn't mean you want to bring that home into your personal life. That's something that may be something that you do like on the side, or something that you're comfortable with doing with a partner that you don't want to marry.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
But me personally, I'm not going to have sexual relationships with somebody that I'm not attracted to. And I'm damn well not going to marry somebody that I don't love. Because when you're talking about marriage, you're loving somebody. So how could you marry somebody that you're racist against? How does that work?
Yeah. That's, it's so much mental gymnastics out here that, people just end up being stupid. That's why I say when the left does shit like that, I don't try to wrap my mind around it, because you're going to break your brain. Trying to make sense you can't make sense out of the senseless.
But I read it and I'm just like, wait, what? I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at my man and I go, okay, let me think about this for a second. Let me think about how this is working here. So you're telling me that I'm racist, that I'm low-key racist for marrying him, having a baby with him that has his same genetic makeup, but I'm still racist. But I love my husband and I love my child.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I'm just like, No,
definitely doesn't fucking make sense.
Make it make sense.
Definitely doesn't fucking make sense. I'm not even gonna try. Shout out to Chad. He said, shout out to the thumbnail game. I got to get better, man. Tom has been really helping us. Protect women by being a strong masculine man and raising strong masculine and strong feminine women. Indeed. Dadion said they told Bill Burr's wife she was an ex-slave for marrying a white man.
Huh?
Wow.
Huh?
I guess a black woman with a white man makes her. They did the same thing with Candace Owens
Oh,
and her
yeah, that
and
was
her
yeah,
husband.
that's what they said. That's what it was. It was that guy. Yeah.
What guy?
The
Bill
Bill
Burr?
Burr's in his
Oh,
yeah.
that's what they're talking about?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh. Oh. Yeah. 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 So he's dating a black woman because he
He
wants a
married
slave.
her. He married
He
her.
married her, but
Yeah.
because he wanted to marry a slave. Again, I don't get involved in these conversations. I don't try to make sense out of the senseless.
But I just gotta say one thing. When you get married to someone, they get half in California.
Automatically? There's no
Yeah,
prenuptial agreement?
unless you have a prenup, they get half.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he got a prenup.
I know, but why would you want to even potentially give somebody of a lower stature than you half your stuff?
Well, what if he got a prenup? Then he don't got to.
But still, like, you still have to pay for that. Like, why would you want to even waste money on that?
Because he's
Why
Bill
wouldn't
Burr.
you
He got money to blow. It's not even
But why
probably
wouldn't
burning
you
his
ju-
pockets.
But why wouldn't you just have that secret kink on the side?
Because maybe he wants to lock his slave into him legally. You ain't going nowhere, bitch. I'm trying to put my mind in his shoes.
That don't make sense to me. Like, in any circumstances, like the amount of time and effort that you're going to have to do for a prenup, so they don't get half. I mean, they're going to be sleeping in your nice bed in your nice house. They're going to be sleeping in
Maybe he's got like a doghouse for her or something like that. We don't know about it. Maybe she doesn't sleep in the same bed.
And is she going to put up with that? Come on.
Shadow Dweller, $2 super chat, said 2021 is the year of grifting galore. Oh man, this week has been a grifty one.
Before we go, tell us what you and Uncle Hotep got going on.
Man, what do we got going on?
What don't you have going on?
Word. Canon Hotep will be having his segment. Hotep with it is submitting his segment. Tweet this now. What else we got for Hotep's been told you? I gotta find the thread. Tamir Rice moms went off on Black Lives Matter.
I read that. I was like, oh my God.
Kirk Franklin cussed his son out. Marvin Hagler died, potentially from the jabby. Twitter banned BitChute.
Did it?
Yeah. Well, not the Twitter account, just the links. You can't post links anymore.
Oh, okay.
And a bunch more other shit. Obviously, we got to talk about Cardi B and Candace Owens, unfortunately. But
Can I just say something about that really, really quickly?
yeah.
If you are one of the people that you took her tweet seriously, the Photoshop tweet seriously, and you think that was funny, and you're like, oh, she owned her, you're an idiot. That's all I have to say.
She owned her? Oh, with that fake tweet? Yeah. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Y'all can talk about it. I just had to say, if anybody sees something that is photoshopped and believes it, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like you just the IQ. It's not even the IQ. It's just you're a moron. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, the president of Tanzania died. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
Oh, what a show! All right, well, I'm gonna get going because I'm tired. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Nope, that's all. See you next time. See you next.
I'll see you next Wednesday.
All right.
Bye.
Peace. Tanzania died. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
Oh, what a show! All right, well, I'm gonna get going because I'm tired. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Nope, that's all. See you next time. See you next.
I'll see you next.